Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Well, the red-hot Nicholas Castellanos will bring his Player of the Week award into play tonight as the Cubs and Tigers will tangle. And plenty of fans for both teams here tonight. Game one in this two-game series, Tigers and the Chicago Cubs. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Kirk Gibson. Glad to have you with us. Game one in a brief two-game interleague series. But Nick Castellanos, Gibby, he's been as good as anybody right now in the big leagues.
He has, and he's been good all year, really, for the Tigers. Top hitter since Miggy's went out of the lineup. And finally gets a little personal reward, Player of the Week. The number's 393, lots of damage, 10 RBI. And he continues to prove that he's going to be a player of the future.
All right, now this Cubs team the Tigers will take on tonight has the best record in the National League, but they're not hitting all that well of late, at least. They do have two guys, though, Ben Zobrist, Javi Baez. They've been going off.
Well, first place team, Tigers not playing those types of games in Minnesota, but the Cubs, they've been playing very well. They haven't been hitting. Ben Zobrist, very versatile. Joe Madden had him in Tampa. Now he has him here and loves him. 373 average to some damage. And Javier Baez, very versatile. He can steal bases. He's got power. He's got 66 extra base hits, 89 RBI. I think that's second in the National League. The two guys the Tigers are going to have to deal with tonight pitch them very well. Jordan Zimmerman on the mound for the Tigers, and he'll have to shut these guys down. All right,
after a short break to the Call Sam Studios, we go and John Keating. Jordan Zimmerman is indeed on the hill tonight. Game one in the series, Tigers Cubbies, and it's all coming up next.
Edgar Winter album. They only come out at night. That applies tonight as Menards brings you the big money encounter. Jordan Zimmerman finds most of his success after the sun goes down. He's 2-2 with a 2.48 record in night games. Welcome back to the Coliseum studio. John Keating with you. Tigers and Cubs coming up. Detroit is 25-20 in interleague play all time against the Cubs. They have met in the World Series 4 times. It's not going to happen this year, to be sure, but the last time it happened was in 1945. It was a 3-4 format back then. Tigers had to go into Wrigley and win 3 of 4, and that's exactly what they did, bringing the World Series back in 1945 back home with them. It's only a regular season game here tonight. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Kroger. Visit Kroger.com for great deals, digital coupons, and more. By Comerica Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Jeep, the official vehicles of summer. Stay with us. First pitch is coming up.
Detroit Tigers, as these two teams will square off in a mini 2-game interleague series. And on the hill for the Tigers, it'll be Jordan Zimmerman, presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Jordan Zimmerman still trying to get through that injury, that stiff neck injury. He's thrown the ball fairly decent, has seen some success early in the comeback, but struggled a little bit. The curve and slider were good very early in his first 11 starts. His last 6 not so good, so he'll have to control that pitch.
Here is the starting lineup that he will face tonight, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. For Joe Madden and the Cubs, it'll be Albert Almora Jr. followed by Hayward and Baez in the top 3 spots. Anthony Rizzo batting cleanup, then Zobrist and Schwarber. A bottom 3 of Bodie and Contreras and La Stella.
McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense. Out in left field, Mikey Montook, Victor Reyes in center, Nicholas Castellanos in right. Candyman and Aducci on the corners with Iglesias and Goodrum. Up the middle, James McCann behind the plate. He's catching Jordan Zimmerman.
So Zim now will face a very talented lineup, albeit they were without Chris Bryant still. Addison Russell also was a late scratch. And so Zim will go to work, and he's got Albert Almora Jr. to lead things off. And our first pitch is a strike called 0-1. Almora, then Hayward, then Baez here in the Cubs' first inning. 296 for Almora, sends a ground ball foul down the third base line.
Take a look at your umpires. Sean Barber behind home plate, Alfonso Marquez at first, James Hoy at second, with Quinn Wolcott at third.
Wave and a miss, and a very quick out is Almora, who strikes out.
Take a look at this, pretty some type of breaking ball, nice and sharp. Gets Almora out front, pulls off the ball. Look how sharp that went down out of the zone. And as pitchers get tired, you've got to really watch and be alert if that starts hanging to get them out of the game. But Zim starts off with a nice sharp one.
Yeah, it's a good sign, since you just mentioned the breaking ball has been getting hit a little bit recently. Here's Hayward, and he looks at a ball outside.
How about this guy? He never has really lived up to his billing offensively, but having a pretty good year this year for the Cubs. Always good defensively.
He'll drive this one in the air to center field. On the move is Reyes, still on the run. He'll get there for the out. 2 gone.
See Mikey Montook. Victor has been known to be a little hungry with some of those fly balls, and have been working on the communication out there. And Mikey veers behind, and Victor puts it away nicely and easily.
Here is Javier Baez, who is right now second in the National League in RBIs, having a fabulous season as Baez. 25 home runs, a solid .289 batting average. Fouled off the mask of McCann, rung his bell a bit.
Wake up call. It's got to give you a little ring, doesn't it, in the ears?
I would think so.
Have your concert earplugs in for the first inning, I think.
The other thing too is all those foul balls, the effect they have on your neck, I wonder, over the years.
James is strong.
Hard hit ball to left, base hit. He hung one there, and Baez slammed it to left for a 2-out single.
Baez very aggressive, swings, got power, got speed. Tigers will have to keep an eye on him, trying to advance to second. See a lot of blue in the stands, Mario.
A lot of blue indeed, Gibby. A lot of Cub fans making the trip here to Detroit to follow their team, which right now is the leader over in the National League Central. Here's Anthony Rizzo with 18 homers, 78 driven in.
Well, he's led off. Now he's a cleanup. Veteran guy who really doesn't matter where he's hitting.
And that is in there for a strike called. 0-1 on Rizzo. Time now for StatCast AI, powered by AWS. This is why they shift Rizzo.
Full Ted Williams shift by the Tigers. 3 to the pull side.
The 0-1 runner goes, and it's drilled down the right field line, high and far, but foul. Rizzo just a touch ahead, and now 0-2.
Good. Sim got it in there just far enough to make him pull it foul.
Cubs have been struggling to score runs recently. In fact, in their last 4 games, they've scored 4 runs total.
Baez on the move, 20 stolen bases, caught only 5 times.
Bouncing ball right side. It'll be past Iglesias, the shortstop. Now on his way to third is Baez, and he's in there. He was knocked down by Iglesias, and by the time Goodrum got it, Baez scooted 90 feet.
This is what shifts do. They work very good. The numbers show you. We're going to take a look at what happens, though, when people get out of position. Iglesias goes, Goodrum goes. We've got the third base over. And watch Baez alertly realizes. Now, actually, Jordan Zimmerman goes to the bag, but Goodrum chose not to throw with him on the run. Probably smart. You got 2 outs. You get the last here. Here you go. Look at Zim. He's over here, but it's a pretty good try. It's a tough throw when your pitcher's running over there and getting turned around.
2-out scoring chance now for Zobrist, and that drops in for a strike. 0-1.
And Baez is a very aggressive player, and he showed his stripes already,
to say the least. And we learned you've got to be on your toes when he's at third base as well, because he will steal home. Now Zim ready with the 0-1. Zobrist has been one of the hottest hitters in the National League since the All-Star break. He's been at 373 since the break. Trying to drive in a 2-out run. A very multifaceted player, can play anywhere on the field. Nubs that one right to the runner at third, Baez. We're mentioning the Cubs have had trouble scoring runs, only 239 in the month of August, which is 12th in the National League, yet they have the best record still in the National League. Again, the 0-2.
Zobrist, you can look at him the way he crouches down. He's dug in, isn't he? He's hunkered in there. He's trying to not give in with 2 strikes. He's trying to get that ball in play. Hopefully he wants to wait for Zim to make a mistake.
Joe Madden had Ben Zobrist in Tampa when they both were with the Rays, and he called him the super utility in those days, because Ben can play every position, and literally has, with the exception of pitch and catch. But beyond that, he's been a very solid offensive performer as well. Now Zim ready with the 1-2. Popped him up. This will get him out of the jam. Left side of the infield. Who wants it? Candelario makes the play, and 2 men left. Couple of hits, nothing doing for the Cubs. Presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Candelario Iglesias and Castellanos in the top 3 spots. Nico batting cleanup, then Victor and Ducey. Matuk, McCann, Reyes, your bottom 3. Kyle Hendricks tonight, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
Pretty good controls. Keeps it close on the edges. Pretty much fastball split change. They act like one pitch 93% of the time they face that. So the Tigers will have to be selective. Hendricks is going to try and get swings just off the edges.
Jamer leads it off and looks at a strike, a high strike right at the letters. Candelario at 226, 15 homers this year. That'll miss inside, 1-1. Jamer in the series against the Twins, 3 for 18. Fouled back out of play. Tigers had so many chances in that Minnesota series. They would drop 3 of 4, but they, as a team, walked 22 times and scored just 7 of them.
Wow.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. In the air to center field on the charge. Almora, and it's going to drop right in front of him. Base hit. Candy going for 2. Here's the throw to second. He's in there. Candelario hustled. He saw Almora bobble the ball, and he's in at second base.
Perfectly placed. I think that's off the end of the bat a little bit. Right in between all of the infielders and outfielders. Candy with a good read right here as he rounds first base. He slows down, takes his turn, and reads where the ball goes, sees it, and goes for it. Leadoff double.
2-pointer. And Ram picked the stick.
That's not your guy.
It is.
You sure?
It is. Positive.
Dang.
Are you sure?
Pulling for you.
1 ball to no strikes on Iglesias. 265 for Iggy. Is hit safely now in his last 3.
Iglesias really been going good in the second half. Very consistent in the field and with the bat.
Missed a few games recently with a sore thumb. More specifically a bruised thumb, but he was back in the final game against the Minnesota Twins.
He got hit, didn't he?
Well, I think he the vibration of the bat on his thumb, I think, is what did it.
Yeah, you get
pitch
jammed.
inside. Yeah. Here's the 1-1. 1-2. That is the screech of Sean Barber, the home plate umpire.
There was an echo to it. Looked like Iggy was trying to go to the right side of the diamond. No, 2 strikes, you got to keep, just protect.
Ace hit the left. Candelario to third. They will stop in there, and the Tigers have 2 hits to start the first inning.
Ooh, this is teed up for Big Nick.
Player of the week in the American League. Pick the stick selection to Kirk Gibson.
Oh, that's right. It's getting back to even. Pretty good approach so far by the Tigers.
Oh, that's right, he says. Castellanos at 290.
Well, Nick's very aggressive early on in the count. Just keep it in the air.
Little chopper slowly left side of the infield. They're going to go to first. Boy, Baez thought about it. He thought about coming home and then thought better of it. It'll be an RBI for Castellanos.
Hendricks came right in on the hands. They wanted that ground ball. You hit the ball on the inside part of the plate many times. That's what you're going to get. Right tight on the hands right there. Nick out of the box pretty good. Baez looked home. Nick almost beat that out. Candyman scores the Tigers' first run of the evening.
Baez realized after he took that look home, I better get rid of this thing.
He's got a cannon. Did you see that?
He does. And Nick runs hard. Almost beat it out. Here is Goodrum. When the Tigers faced Hendricks in Chicago, that was at Wrigley Field in early July, he went 5 innings, allowing 3 runs to the Tigers, 7 hits. The 1-0. Goodrum now with 41 extra base hits, second most among American League rookies.
He's got a lot of good things going on in his year this year. He's good with 2 strikes.
Nico, a great example of all I need is a chance. And here's what you can do. Here are the rookie ranks. He is up there in many of those categories. Extra base hits, homers, RBIs, 34 walks as well.
Didn't play much early. Dixon Machado was getting the playing time, and Machado moved over, and Nico went after it.
Grounded to the right side and scooped up there by Rizzo. The pitcher will cover. Hendricks over there. 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the Cubs starting defense. Left field to right field, Schwarber, Amora, and Hayward. Hayward's really good out there. David Bodie at third base. Anthony Rizzo at first. Javier Baez at short with Ben Zobrist. At second base, Wilson Contreras is catching Kyle Hendricks.
They had to switch around the original lineup. Zobrist now playing second base. Addison Russell did not play, or was in the original starting lineup and is not playing.
It was one of the easier switches. Usually we're scrambling around before the game in our scorebooks, but this was a 9 for 9.
That was pretty nice. 0-1 on Victor Martinez. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow, and you will score yourself a free small order of curly fries. Victor trying to drive in a 2-out run here. He's had a really good month of August. 291. It's been kind of a renaissance here in the month of August for V-Mart.
Yes, he has. A little break at All-Star break. Went down and saw the ranch. Came back energized. Swinging the bat well, playing well. Assuming that role of the clubhouse leader since Miggy's not around.
Pulled to the right side and threw a base hit. A 2-out knock for V-Mart, and the Tigers have another run, 2-0.
You know, he's hitting the ball much harder than he was early in the year. This ball's on the line as well. Ground balls earlier, they would get gobbled up by the shift, but over top of the shift, big 2-out knock and an RBI. Tigers lead 2-0.
Here is Jim Adduci. Adduci is really hot right now for Adduci. A 6-game hitting streak, and he'll swing on the first pitch and roll it right to first. They're going to take the force at second, and that'll end the inning. Tigers score a pair, and we go to the second. increase from last year.
You can see up 6.3%. 20.7% the current percentage. So he's doing well. I mean, really, he's come back healthy. I think that Jordan will throw the ball better next year. I think he had a pretty serious injury. You don't really know until you really get out of it. I had that 88 tear in the hamstring. It took me almost to 92 to shake it all the way off.
Wow. There's a ball inside to Kyle Schwarber, who is leading things off here for the Cubs in the second. It'll be Schwarber, Bodie, and Contreras against Jordan. Pull on the ground to the right side. Nico can't get it into right field. That'll be a single for Schwarber. Despite the shift, he found a seam.
Yeah, that's 2 times they found the shift, a hole in the shift. And Tigers, when they do shift, they're 60 points at least better with the shift. So this is unusual. There's nothing you can do about it. Everybody's where they belong. Here you can see the alignment. Ball got through there quick. Good pace on it. Schwarber with the leadoff single.
Here is David Bodie. That'll slide low and away to Bodie, who's enjoying a 4-game streak. 18th round pick that has made it to the major leagues. A .290 average this year.
He's the guy who hit the walk-off the other day?
He is indeed. The walk-off grand slam.
The bomb.
He'll dive low and away.
And they were behind, and bases get loaded, and boom. He knew it right away. Some electric atmosphere there in Wrigleyville. He was excited.
Yes, he was. He celebrated too.
Wonder what that feels like.
There's the 2-0 pitch. Fouled back out of play. Had a good rip.
You can tell he's a low ball hitter, huh? Looked like he elevated a little bit. He may prove me wrong, but he really jumped on that home run, that ball down in the zone. He was ahead in the count as well.
Zim now with the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss.
Just a little slide piece right there. Look at the hard hit rate. Highest this season, David Bodie, 59.4%. That's the minimum of 50 balls in play. See the old Tiger JD down there at 54.4. That's a lot of hard hit balls.
Down he goes as he swings and misses, and Zim now with his second strikeout of the game, 1 away.
Zim kind of threw the kitchen sink at Bodie right there. Started with the fastball, then the slider, and then the curve straight down and out of the zone. Look at there. Great grip. Look at the spin. That one's the 12-6 version. Down he goes.
Here is Wilson Contreras. Pretty solid offensive catcher. Contreras, a very good defensive catcher. But he will contribute with the bat as well. 9 homers, 41 driven in.
No, Contreras, they had some pretty good pitch framers before him. Contreras probably not as good in that area. Cubs pitchers' strike percentage has gone down a bit.
He does lead the major leagues in pickoffs, does Contreras. Cubs have a man on, a man out. They have put up 3 hits already in this game. Tigers lead 2-0. And Zim catches the inside corner, 1-2.
Zim's really had the good breaking stuff. In his first 11 starts, you can see 168 average. The last 6 not so good. So he's starting out good today. As I was saying a minute ago, you got to really watch it. If he starts hanging him, you're going to have to be very careful about pitch usage of that variety.
Jordan comes back to strike him out. 3rd of the game now for Zim.
It's rolling now, isn't it? Curveball and a slider, 2 strikeouts in a row. Just the sliders just moves late. It's very short. And the hitters don't recognize it till later. Be interesting if we have one of those spin machines, you know, to see what the spin rate is on that pitch now and maybe in the 6th inning. It's got to be much less.
Tommy La Stella will check in, the late addition to their lineup. La Stella DHing. He has been able to excel in an area that is very difficult, and that is pinch hitting.
Got like 18 of them, doesn't he?
He does. I mean, it's
incredible.
It really is incredible. And obviously, they pinch hit a whole lot more in the National League than they do in the American League. And so a solid pinch hitter is very valuable off a National League bench. But man,
it can happen quick. You're sitting there on the bench. Pitcher's position's coming up. You're next thing you know, you're in the game with 2 men on 1 in scoring position. So you've got to pinch hit cold and deal with the situation.
MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $49.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB At Bat Premium. Take advantage of this special offer by going to MLB.TV.
Boy, when I'm roaming around, do I ever watch that app?
It is huge, man. It is really used.
Watch any game, Major League, Minor League. Information galore, videos, somebody makes a good play. Just the kind of app that's good for my ADD when I want something quick.
Here's the 2-2 now to La Stella. Swing and a miss. He dusted him, and Jordan Zimmerman strikes out the side. 4 punch outs in the game. Zim gives up a leadoff single, but nothing else. Still 2-0 Tigers. Tigers have the lead 2-0 as we play here in the second. They got a couple of runs in the first. Kyle Hendricks going back to work, and Mikey Matuk looks at a strike. It'll be Matuk, McCann, and Reyes here in the bottom of the second.
Mikey hit a bullet the other day, huh?
Hit a couple of them. Actually had 2 home runs in the Minnesota series. He'll flare this one back out of play.
Good thing you're not playing in Oakland. That would have been caught.
Well, the Tigers were in Oakland on a recent road trip, and we saw just how much that foul ground can swallow up balls. Matuk is batting 184. Now the 0-2. Mikey drills one to left field. That ball is hooking foul.
So look at the big field, and Oakland, serious. It's way out and around here. I don't know if you can see it on my telestrator. Whoops. You can tell I'm rusty. I just screwed my telestrator up. Sorry, folks. Mikey hanging tough. A couple foul balls with 2 strikes.
This one might have a play on in right field. They will, as Hayward comes running in to make the play, and Matuk is out of there. 1 gone. He'll bring up James McCann. Mac batting 224, 7 home runs. Tigers got RBIs in the first inning from Castellanos on a ground ball and Victor Martinez on a 2-out single. Jumping out to a 2-0 lead on the Cubs. Normally the Tigers have had really good success against the National League, but this year just 3-9 in interleague play.
Why do you think that is?
Don't know. Younger team. The Tigers, when they have been putting up really good numbers, had the more veteran clubs, the guys that like J.D. Martinez, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Kinsler, Upton.
So you think the rebuild has a lot to do with it?
Yeah, I
You're
think
probably
so.
right.
Yep.
And some of it is just fate, the way it works, the draw, who you play, what stadiums you play in.
A little bit outside, 2-1 the count on McCann.
Boy, Contreras really tried to pull that in. Did you see that? Tried to steal that strike.
A lot of Cub fans here watching their ball club tonight. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1 on James with Reyes waiting on deck.
I think he does throw a changeup and a split. I think that last pitch was a split. We'll try and get a slow-mo of one of these.
Driven to right field, and Hayward on the run. He'll cut it off in the gap. That ball was headed to Triple's alley before Hayward cuts it off.
Hayward, I can tell you, that was a real straight, direct route. Excellent route. Watch when the camera picks him up here. He's just already on his way. No banana route. Just straight to it. Keeps his hands in and late throws the glove out. That's how you cover the most ground.
Willie's won 5 Gold Gloves, 4 of them consecutively, so he's gotten a little taste of why there. A nice running play to the gap. Here is Victor Reyes now with 2 outs. Bender drops inside to Reyes. 227 for the Tigers center fielder. Tigers still waiting on the return of Jacoby Jones, who more than likely will go on a rehab.
Yeah, I think you won't see him until after September 1st, probably.
2-0 is ripped up the middle into center. 2-out single for Reyes. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. That'll bring up Chamber now with 2 outs.
September, you get into this, you get a lot of new people up. Victor Reyes has been here all year, finally getting some playing time. And really had, I think Artie was talking about it today. He's really happy with the way he's developed. Said that he didn't do a very good job early by playing him enough. He has 7 steals, only caught once. See if he's on the run.
Pretty good sized lead, and a back pick now to first base, back in there.
You better watch it.
I mentioned Contreras has picked off 6 this year. He is not afraid.
Back pick attempts 71. That's 3 times almost as much as anybody else in the league. He likes it.
Candelario doubled to start the first inning and scored the first Tigers run. Jamer now with a 4-game hitting streak. Oh, very close. Reyes just got back. Joe Madden says, wait, you want to take a look at it?
I call this a balk move. Watch him, he bends that front knee, and that usually freezes the runner. See, he almost slipped there. Ooh, is that enough to reverse it?
Apparently not, because the Cubs waved it off. Oh, and 2 now on Candelario. Runner goes. The 0-2 foul straight back. Reyes on the move there. Mentioned Reyes with 7 steals in 8 attempts.
Yeah, he timed that. He was gone before he lifted his leg. Take a look. Look at he's gone before you. Anticipation. Sometimes you count the 1001, 1002. You start to pitchers getting patterned sometimes. So as soon as he comes set, you just keep counting, and if you see a similarity, you go for it.
Gardy saying today before the game that Reyes walking around a little bit more confidence these days, knowing that he belongs right now and is getting a chance to play. And that time very close again. I'm sure the Cubs will look at this one as well. That's 2 of them now in this at bat.
Tell you what, watch Rizzo. He lets the glove, he keeps his glove back and keeps it deep so the ball travels quicker, and he just drops it straight down. A lot of guys will go out, reach that front hand out. He just catches it straight down. Still in there. You're not going to win that one.
Swing and a tip at home plate just stays alive. Tigers 2 runs on 4 hits. Cubs no runs on 3 hits.
He's got to be going.
Here he goes. Another good jump. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. That'll end the inning. Well, coming up, the Cubs added another big piece in a trade earlier today. Matt Shepard will have that story when we come back.
him, you know, how much he can endure. It's almost like Zobrist. I got to talk to him, and we'll actually talk to him on the phone briefly. But like I said, I want to sit down in the office. We can go over this eyeball to eyeball, and I need to know what you need. I mean, and that's when you get a veteran player this time of the year, although he missed some of the season based on an injury, but you still want to know, what can you do?
Cubs manager Joe Maddon thrilled to have Daniel Murphy right there talking about a left-handed stick who can play all over the infield, really gives him quality at bats, and a guy who, since the All-Star break, fellas, batting .340, also bats .413 in his career at Wrigley. Mario, I asked Joe Maddon, do you believe guys hit better in certain ballparks? He said absolutely. The backdrop at Wrigley Field should help him. He's going to help them, and there is a buzz in that Cubs clubhouse with the acquisition of Daniel Murphy today. We should see him make his Cubs debut tomorrow right here at Comerica Park, fellas.
Well, Shep, there should be a buzz. I mean, the Cubs right now, the best record in the National League, and they just got a really good player for their stretch run. Meanwhile, Zim gets Almora to ground out, one away.
Well, Daniel Murphy's just a pure hitter. He can hit anybody. He hits righties, he hits lefties, and he hits in big situations. And you can tell the Cubs, they picked up Cole Hamels, and now Daniel Murphy. And they're thinking about the playoffs. No question about it. Daniel Murphy, Joe Maddon, he likes his veteran guys. He's thinking about his matchups already, who he may face in the playoffs, should they get there.
Murphy 2 years ago knocked in 104 runs, so he's going to give them a potent bat. Jason Hayward flying to center field his first time up.
Gibby, it's interesting too, because Joe Maddon told me he's thinking about how many different right-handed pitchers the Cubs face the rest of the way. Thinks Murphy's going to be perfect for that. And then I said, of course, unless you meet the Red Sox right in the World Series. He said, well, I'd be happy to meet the Red Sox with Daniel Murphy against lefties too.
Yeah, he hits lefties. I think he's in the 290s career, and I believe he also hits Kershaw. So if they had to go up against the Dodgers, you know Kershaw is going to throw against him at least 2 times.
Yeah, remember, he batted .539 against the Cubs when Murphy was with the Mets in the 2015 NLCS. He was a pain in their side.
You're amazing, Shep.
Shep, that is Daniel Murphy studying today.
He's locked in like he always does.
He always is. Here's Baez now with 2 outs, and he'll stroke one to left center field. And it'll get down a base hit. Matuk will get it in quickly because Baez will challenge you. He is 2 for 2.
Well, Baez very aggressive after the single in the first inning by going to third. This time, this is just a little looper into the left center field. And I like this type of play. You can't run yourself into that. But look at it. He's making Mikey Matuk throw it hard, and he reads it. He comes in. Mikey's got a very good arm, but that pressure starts to build when you get into a playoff series with play like that. The guys that know you're going to round hard like that, they get peekaboo sometimes and make a mistake.
Anthony Rizzo, the batter.
You know what that is?
What's that?
Peekaboo.
No.
Hey, dude, come on.
Peekaboo. Isn't that what you do with your infant? I don't typically see peekaboo on the baseball field. Want to know the count on Rizzo?
So we got the shift again. Last time up we got caught, so everybody should be going through their heads mentally. You've got the catcher that can make it to third. Zim can make it to third. Possibly Candy. Just depends where the ball may take him. With Baez on first.
Now the 1-0 Rizzo. 2-0. You know, that Murphy trade is also a great example, Gibby, of how all trades do not have to be made by the July 31st deadline. I mean, we put so much importance on that every single season, but the waiver deadline as well in the month of August is just as big sometimes.
Yeah, it's August 31st, I believe, that you have to have him on your roster before he can play in the playoffs. And it's called trade waivers. When you put your player on trade waivers, you can let him go if he gets claimed, or you can pull him back, or you can make a deal and let him go.
Cubs also got Terrence Gore after the July 31st deadline. Here are the changes now coming to the Windy City.
You see Chavez and Gore, Cole Hamels, Kinsler, pretty good arm from Washington, and now Daniel Murphy.
2-1 on Rizzo. Time call now as Rizzo steps out of late time given by Sean Barber. Zim sidestep 2 singles in the first inning, a single in the second, now trying to sidestep a base hit here in the third.
Well, Rizzo right on the plate. So you think you can come in, but if you leave it out, he hammers it.
Fouled away now, 2-2. Rizzo, a 3-time All-Star. He recorded his 1,000th major league hit earlier this month.
He's turned into a very good player. A lot of expectations when he came into the game. Took him a while to shake that and just play and become who he is, and he's done a great job. Been a good staple for the Cubs.
Fouled away again.
He's got some sack. 18 home runs this year, 78 RBI. Very productive.
Rizzo in his career has put up 4 separate 30-homer seasons.
So if you make a mistake, and again, he's right on the plate, he's trying to. A lot of pitchers don't like to get in there. Jordan Zimmerman, a veteran guy, he will.
And that was pulled foul.
He went down to his back knee to get that. See Zim thinking it out. Now what? Slider down and in. Goes down there. Look at that. Staying right on it. Most guys would swing over top of that.
And again, the 2-2. And another foul back out of play. Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app. Take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University.
We're looking at Baez over there. He's not even acting like he's going at all because they're going to let Rizzo hit. Saw all these pitches just at bat. They're going to go for the downs.
And a swing and a miss, and Zim with another punch out. 5 on the night. Still 2-0 Tigers.
Fulmer, but where will he return to? He threw a bullpen session today. In 2 starts in Lakeland, he was unscored upon over 6 innings. He said he feels great. His velocity is up. He'll throw 70 pitches on Friday, we're told. Will he throw them for the Tigers? The Mud Hens? Everybody just sort of smiles and winks. We'll find out maybe Thursday. Mario, right?
It'll be interesting to see where he called Gerard.
Yeah.
Well, let's have it. No big deal.
Yeah, you know, I can see the similarity. He caught himself. It's okay. Rod's relaxing. Come on.
What a way. Time now for the Bernstein Advantage. Castellanos 393 is the American League Player of the Week. And Nicholas with a ground ball to drive in a run, his first at bat.
Look at these fastballs by Hendricks. 87, 89, maybe 90 miles an hour. Just precision with his delivery and his location of the pitches.
Pulled foul.
And
1-2.
on slowest balls in baseball, he's got to be right down there, doesn't he?
He is.
There you got it.
He is certainly not blazing with that fastball. 86.6.
He's got pretty good location with it. I know that. He doesn't walk many.
I don't know. You hear people talk all the time, whether it's pitching coaches, scouts, managers. A guy that can hit his spots can be just as valuable as a guy that throws mid to upper 90s.
Well,
and we've seen it over and over.
The best that I played behind was Frank Tanana, who used to throw mid to high 90s, hurt his arm, came back in the 87 game, shut out the Blue Jays in the playoff game 1-0, sawing off bats with about 83 mile an hour fastball, a little right on the hand. So it can be done. They turn it over, they'll cut it one time, they'll run it the next time, throw a high fastball that rides up. Looks like some type of changeup. It's unusual to have right-handed pitcher throw right-handed hitters changeups. You won't see hardly any of that when you watch Major League Baseball games. I like the pitch, especially early.
Why don't they do that?
Still think it's a good pitch. I think early on, when they're looking for a fastball, it's a good foul strike, foul ball strike. Fastball away.
3-2.
So he turned that one over there.
Hendricks, born in Newport Beach, California, 28 years old. He has not walked many. In fact, came in with only 2 walks in his last 4 starts overall. Here's the 3-2, and there's a walk. First one of the ball game for Hendricks. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game.
Good job by Nick being patient right there. Leave it up to Nico.
Nico bounced out 3-1 his first time up.
And Nico likes to pull the ball between that first baseman and second baseman.
You had some numbers on ground balls on Nico, didn't you? Where he's his average not all that high with balls on the ground.
Yeah, it's low. I mean, he's well below the league average. But it, you know, what does it tell you? You know, why would he be so much lower than anybody else? Well, part of it maybe is shift. Part of it is fate, or just luck. And what it tells me is if that keeps happening, that he's going to trend up. I would read that. This is a big breaking ball there.
Oh, 0-2. Runner going and a swing and a miss.
Oh, what a tag.
Wow, a great tag down there by Baez. A strike him out and a throw him out to end the inning. A bullet by Contreras, and look at the tag by Baez.
Straight down, let the ball travel, as we were talking about early. Good throw right down to the bag. Tigers still lead 2-0 as we go to the top of the fourth.
Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Hendricks got a strike him out, throw him out, double play, and a terrific throw by Contreras.
Yeah, it was a bullet.
And now Zim back to the hill. He has given up 4 hits but no damage. And Ben Zobrist looks at strike 1. Schwarber and then Bodie to follow here in the Cubs 4th.
Contreras, he got loose tonight. He really let go of the ball. Gonna throughout the game here show you the different tags, and the reason I start thinking about it is I was down in the minor leagues. They were out early at 1 o'clock working on tags down there in Erie, Pennsylvania, with the Tigers AA ball club, trying to teach these young men. It's kind of how the Tigers want to see it done, because they had a play. If you extend that glove out front and then have to move back to the bag, it's very slow compared to letting the ball travel to the glove immediately over top of the bag.
Zobrist will get a leadoff walk here in the 4th.
Now here we're going to watch the throw out, and you're going to see he waits it and it goes straight down and right to where they're going to have to tag the bag. You'll see a lot of guys reach up to try and tag the body, and that's when you see those swim moves. This is just straight down. That's what you strive to do right there.
It can be such an advantage if you can shut down the opponent's running game, whether it's with a very good catcher or a pitcher with a good move, or one that is quick to the plate. And Contreras was outstanding there in tandem with Baez.
Just little plays that help you win games. If you do them more consistently, you're going to have a good opportunity to win if you add all the little things up.
Here is Schwarber. Kyle played his college ball in the Big Ten at Indiana. #1 pick, or I should say first-round pick. Waiting on a 1-1 pitch. 2-1 on Schwarber.
Schwarber, good power. First pick out of Indiana, and I think it was back in 2014. He's had some success there in Chicago. Also has some struggles defensively, a little bit of a liability, but he can hit a ton.
He was the runner-up this year in the home run derby to Bryce Harper, who won it on his home field in Washington.
It's amazing when he did. I remember when Pudge won it here. Home field advantage is amazing.
2-2 on Schwarber. What do you got in the home run derby? You like it as part of the All-Star week?
I do. You know, I think they tried to switch it up so it got maybe too drawn out before. I think people like to see things change. How about you?
I do. I like it. That's going to stay in play. And curl, look out. The left fielder Matuk with a nice sliding play. Ball came back and Jamer overran it. Mikey bailed him out.
Yeah, this is the wind's blowing out a little bit to right field, and this ball is going to come way back towards this way. Go ahead. And watch Mikey. He never gives up on it, and he comes back and covers Candy right there. This is good concentration. Candy at the end is called off. Good communication. They get it done.
Now they'll bring up David Bodie. Bodie fanned in the second.
That's a bigger catch than you know, because if that ball drops, Candy's on the ground, Mikey's on the ground, and remember you got Zobrist on first, so he's probably getting some trouble.
Good pitch on the inside part of the plate. Now 0-2.
See a lot of this pattern. Zim going to the slider and then to the breaking ball. Slider's much shorter. The breaking ball is very 12-6-ish. Looks like he wants another curve. If you're Zobrist over there, if you're thinking about running, you want to try and pick out one of those curveball counts, because those are the slowest to the plate.
Busted him inside that time and missed with a fastball. 2-2.
Not by much.
Zim trying to improve on his numbers since the All-Star break. In 5 starts, he is 1-4. ERA of almost 6 in that span. And now all of a sudden he's gone to 3-2.
First at bat, Zim threw him mostly away, mostly in this time, totally changing it up. I believe we're going to see a curveball here, something with a wrinkle in it. A lot of timeouts, huh?
Ton of them already.
One of the things down in minor leagues, they got that 20-second pitch clock.
What did you think of that?
I like it because it does make it move quickly. Don't think it hinders the game.
Runner going and a bouncing ball to short. Iglesias on the charge. Fires it to second and right by Goodrum. To third base will go Zobrist, and now the Cubs are in business here in the 4th. What happened there?
Yeah, you know, he tried to make a great play, and has all good intentions. He might have fooled Goodrum, but he probably doesn't have a chance to get him. And he threw it up into the runner, Zobrist. And you know, here's an example. You just want to try and get that out at first. You got a man in second. 2 down. Iggy's pretty good at that stuff. Doesn't normally happen. Need the ground ball by Zim now. You got to pick up your infield right here.
Contreras takes ball 1. Zobrist got right on top of the bag early because he was on the run. So that was going to be a difficult out to record at second base.
Now, if you look at this, that was 63 pitches. Now, you normally would have an out on that. So it's going to take you X amount of pitches to get the extra out that you just gave away. Here we go.
There's a 4, a 6, and 3. Double play. Thank you very much.
Good job, Zim.
So no damage comes from the air by Iglesias. Zim gets the ground ball.
Movement, and we see the 2-seam grip right there. His fingers are together, turns it over, and here's the curveball grip. And then we see another 2-seamer to the other side. That's his glove side. That's called dealing with a little less than meets the eye. Generally, they like to see the velocity, but he has learned how to master that release point. And Kyle Hendricks is down 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Tigers up.
Victor Martinez will lead things off for the Tigers here in the 4th inning.
So if you're a hitter up there, we slowed it down. If you're a hitter, you think you can see that? The difference in release and the difference in grips, etc.?
I don't know, can you?
Some guys you can, but they usually have quick arm speed. And veteran guys like that is we got a leadoff knock by Victor.
He's just serving right now like he's playing tennis.
He is. Just swinging it good.
2 out of 2.
A little 2-seamer right there, right out over. Victor goes down and gets it. Victor's seen it.
He is seeing it well. Now the Tigers have the leadoff man on for a Ducey. So in your playing days, would you rather face a guy that had the pinpoint controller, the guy that would challenge you at 95, 96? That's flared to left field, and it's going to be caught there by Schwarber.
Yeah, you got to take it all in. Some guys that don't throw as hard, you see them well or you don't see them well. Maybe they can throw, say a left-hander that can throw a 2-seamer into me, which goes down under the hands. That's a very hard pitch to hit. So it can be either way. You know, guys that threw high fastballs that rode high in the zone earlier in my career, I couldn't lay off it, so that was a very tough guy to face. So, but the guys that slow their arms down, or you can see that grip, or they show you the ball early, they usually get raked. And so far, it's not happening for Kyle Hendricks.
Mikey Matuk takes strike one. He flied out to right field in his only at bat. Mikey had 2 hits in that Minnesota series, and both of them were homers. That's popped up. First baseman Rizzo coming in,
run.
Calling. And that is out number 2. Well, the Tigers host the Central Division rivals Chicago White Sox this Saturday at 6:10. The first 10,000 fans get a 1968 50th anniversary Mickey Lolich bobblehead. If you'd like tickets or for more information, go to tigers.com.
Mikey was disappointed in that result. Did not run to first base. That's something. That ball comes somehow, spins back to fair territory. You always got to get down there.
Here is McCann, who had a double at least taken away, and a ball he hit to the gap in right field. Jason Hayward ran it down nicely. Tigers got a pair in the first. RBI ground out by Castellanos, and Vimard singled in a run.
Comes our boy for next inning. He's going to bring it. Simo's in the house.
Dropping knowledge.
He got something for us, trust me. I get all my stuff out of the way so he can get up here and see.
Ball up top on McCann. Now 2-1 on James.
Yeah, James has been swinging the bat much better. He really has changed his swing, I think, as the season's progressed. You see him drive that ball to right center field in his previous at bat. Took a great defensive play by Mr. Hayward out there to cut him down.
Bouncing ball to short for Baez. He'll go the short way to second to retire the side. Nothing comes to the leadoff single. We go to the 5th. Detroit brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Little guy is happy. Tigers have a 2-0 lead. Great night for baseball. We're joined by Craig Monroe in the booth now, and Simo joins us along with Gibby. And I'll tell you what, Simo, Jordan Zimmerman tonight's got the breaking ball working pretty good.
And when he has that pitch working for him, he's really able to meander through any lineup. I feel like if he can still establish good fastball command to both sides as well, it makes that slider that much better.
Tommy LaStella will lead things off.
He's been going a lot slider and then finishing with the breaking ball. It's much bigger break, more of a 12-6 break, and I noted early that
Little chopper back to Zim, easy play, one gone.
Noted in some of his outings when he gets later in the game, like any pitcher, that could flatten out a little bit, and you have to be really cognizant of that as a catcher, a pitcher, and as a manager.
Yeah, slider's more east to west. When it's at its best, Gibby, for me, it's north to south, and it's late, and it's got that tight rotation, which makes it very difficult for the hitter in the batter's box to pick it up.
And we were just showing Kyle Hendrickson's release points. And I said some guys you could see the change in release points. You think of guys that you could. There's other guys you couldn't see it.
Right, but there was one guy on our team that played here, former Tiger, Marcus Tim, who's now the hitting instructor with the Yankees. It would baffle me that Marcus Tim could actually pick up right when the pitcher took the ball out of the glove, Mario. He could tell you what pitch was coming. And I tried it, obviously that's my brother in the game, and so he always tried to help me understand how to do it. But guys, that is a special talent. Was not able to accomplish. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
There's a chopper up the middle, and it's going to find a hold. It's a single for Almora with one out. So that's pretty much either a talent you have or don't have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jim Leland was saying earlier, I think it was to Keith, that he believes that the good hitters see the ball early, and I did at times, but not all the time. You get a guy that's sidewinding you and the guy that drops down on the right-handed side, me the left-handed side. You got to change things up a little bit. You might want to open up so you can see the ball a little better, but that may make you uncomfortable. That's why I believe when you get in the batter's box on batting practice that you change places in the box so you can be comfortable if you have to do it in the game.
I remember having a great conversation with Willie Horton about that exact point that you just made, Gibby. I had to, against right-handers, I had to open up my front side, push my back foot closer to the plate, but open up against the right-handers so I could see the ball with two eyes. And then against the left-handers, he changed me and asked me, he said, you want to try closing up against them so you can stay on the baseball better. And it ended up really helping me out, especially in 2006 when I was able to put together probably my best season.
A little bit outside, one ball and one strike on Jason Hayward, who is 0 for 2 in this game, and a guy that I think Simo a lot was expected of early in his career, maybe a little too much. I mean, he's had some really good seasons.
Well, I think it was the big contract. When he signed the big contract, when he left Atlanta and came to the Cubs, there was a lot of high expectations on this young man. But defensively, he's one of the game's best, especially playing right field. But offensively, he struggled, swinging and missing. And truth be told, I was a little baffled by the fact that here's a guy that had already had some success at the major league level with the Atlanta Braves, and then you go over to the Cubs, and for whatever reason, he couldn't find his swing.
Well, he's had a solid year this year. He's hit 7 homers, knocked in 50, playing that Gold Glove caliber defense as well.
Yeah, but I see him being a guy that should be able to hit 25, driving 100. I mean, he's 6'4"?
Power-wise, you're right, but I think there's pressure in everybody. Maybe certain people care more about it than others, but people learn you too, and they exploit your weaknesses. That's a tall frame there, the long levers there, which can be an advantage, but you got to sync all that up. That seems like it's hard as well. I like the way he sets up now, way better than what he used to.
1 out single by Almora here in the 5th. Zim has been able to pitch around 5 hits. The key is all of them have been singles.
Now's when you really got to watch out. You don't want to be hanging anything right here.
High fly ball left field. It's going to be playable for Matuk. And Hayward is out of there. 2 gone. Well, the Tigers conclude their interleague series with the Cubs tomorrow at 7:10. Great seats still available. If you'd like to purchase, go to 866-66-TIGER or tigers.com. Tigers bringing you summer since 1901. Two of the teams playing in this series with long and deep and rich histories.
So the last World Series was 45 Tigers Cubs.
Between them, yeah. Little chopper up the middle, and Goodrum and Manisi hot. Baez is out. That'll end the inning. No runs. A single, one man left. Here comes the bottom of the fifth.
Let's take a look at our cricket smile. This is the 35 and this is the 45 World Series between the Tigers and the Cubs. Tigers defeated the Cubs in both. A little different uniforms and field conditions, and almost faced them in '84.
Yeah, you probably should have faced them in '84, but the Padres ended up beating the Cubs, which was somewhat of a surprise.
And somebody asked me just the other day, do you think you could have beat the Cubs?
And your answer was?
Well, I think I could beat him, but you know, how do you know? I mean, we played the Pods, and it would have been an interesting series, but the Cubs got one win since then. Finally, and won a World Series. Not last year, but here they're trying to duplicate a couple of years ago.
Hal Newhouser led that 45 team that season. He won 25 games for the Tigers. Beat the Cubs in 35 and 45. There is the statue of Mr. Newhouser out in left field.
How impressed have you guys been with Victor Reyes?
A lot.
I've been really impressed with this young man, especially in the batter's box. How about that epic at bat he had in Minnesota? 13 pitch at bat. Here's a kid that hadn't played that much baseball at a high level, not even AA, AAA, and he's a Rule 5 in the big leagues. And it just seems like the more chances he gets to play, the more comfortable he gets.
Well, let's look at what happened. They have to keep him here all year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes up and he doesn't play hardly at all, but he gets to see the lights, the bright lights and everything. Gets to see Miggy, the vets. They get into the season. He gets to start here, start there. He's pinch running. No pressure. Then all of a sudden, I think he starts believing, hey, I can, you know, then he gets a knock.
Yeah.
Steals a base.
Drilled to right field and hit well. Hayward is on the run. He looks up. It's off the wall. Reyes on his way to third base. Throw into second is not in time. It'll hit Candelario in the back. It'll be a double for Jamer. That'll leave him at second and third.
He went in there hard, didn't he, Simo?
Yeah, late slide for me. I was a little concerned.
Well, he hasn't been hitting the fastball, but he gets something off speed here, and he rakes this played pretty good by Hayward, who's a Gold Glove. Good hard slide, went in late.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't think he should slide, but we were talking about Reyes just to finish it off. Now he gets some success, and now it's like the perfect. It's hard to keep a guy on the roster that you can't play, right?
It really is.
It's turned out great.
Well, because he can play all 3 outfield positions. He runs well, so he's a guy that can come off the bench late in a ball game and steal you a bag, be able to score from second base on a base hit.
Iglesias drives this one foul back into the seat. I asked Gardy today, from spring training when he first laid eyes on Reyes to now, what is the area that he's made the most improvement in or progress in? And Gardy just simply says confidence, being around the guys and, believing you can, walking around like you belong. I mean, Gardy's used him to pinch hit.
Yeah, but that's half the battle too, Mario. That is half the battle at this level. You have to get to a point to where you feel like, and you believe in your heart, truly believe it, that you belong at this level. And then you can allow yourself to have some success. You can bring out that big kid in yourself and just play the game.
But you need opportunity to get to that point.
Oh, absolutely. If you're not getting opportunities and you're living and dying with every at bat, which happens to a lot of guys, young players that come up and they're scared about, if I don't succeed, I'm going to go back to Toledo. That in itself, too, for me, is a lot of pressure.
It is. Some people start thinking about where they don't want to go.
Hard hit ground ball to third, right at Bodie. That will not score a run.
But you really give in, you know this. You have to just get to a point where you just control the things that you can control.
Absolutely. Iggy right here hit the ball hard, but right to third base. Runner's got a hold. They'll probably be on the move here with 1 out and Nick up now. Here's the infield. Joe Madden very aggressive. This is late in the game. He would have an extra outfielder in there.
Iggy hit that baseball hard, and that's what you want to do in that situation. But Gibby, this is situational. Hitting there with the infield in, you really wanted to try to get a pitch up, elevated, where you could try to drive it to the big part of the field. Let's hope Nicholas Castellanos was able to do exactly that and drive in a couple big runs.
Yeah, they're coming in. Let that go.
Line drive caught. Now they're going to throw to third and get a double play. Reyes came home and he's doubled up. The Tigers are turned back here in the 5th.
Early with the breaking ball, moving everything around. There's the sliders. Look, here's a split he's throwing. He's throwing his off-speed stuff with great variation. Then he's coming with that high fastball. This really had a good deal. Tigers missed a big opportunity to score. So far, 5 runs, 5 hits. Did walk 1 and struck out 5. Let's take a look. 47% on the fastball. Rest off speed. The changeup, good.
Yeah, for me, he's put on a pitching clinic today. I mean, he's moving the fastball around the strike zone. He's changing speeds with that split finger the changeup. I think it's a changeup now that he's tinkering in the bullpen with. He's got the spread. Yeah, he's got that working and it's running. And then he also, did you see the breaking ball there? That 12-6. That's when I feel like makes it difficult for the hitter to pick up that baseball and barrel it up, because it's got north to south bite on it. And then you add in the fact that his slider, which is his security blanket, he's locating that pitch well.
Yeah, the 12-6 is finishing almost in the ground too.
Yeah.
If you hang that, it can get you in trouble. But yeah, he's got great stuff right here. Tigers take a 2-0 lead into the top of the 6th.
Rizzo leads it off and drills one deep to right field. That ball's way back and way out of here.
He fell down on that.
A leadoff home run for Anthony Rizzo, his 19th of the year. Where Rizzo ends up after hitting this ball.
Well, we showed him fouling the ball off early, doing this as a breaking ball. That knee goes right down to it.
He's literally on the ground.
I've never seen that. Ever. We talked about him on the pregame show too, guys, where he's moved up on the dish. And so anything on the inner half, I'm amazed that he's still able to keep that baseball there fair. And the ball on the outside, Mario, that just makes that pitch a middle pitch to him. And so he can cover the entire strike zone.
He looked like he was looking for that to me, and he made an adjustment. Like you say, he dared him to throw it in there. He did, hung it. And it's a 2-1 game.
Here is Ben Zobrist.
I jinxed Zimmerman there, Gibby.
We all did.
I was talking about pitching clinic. He's moving the ball around the strike zone, changing speeds.
Well, we cut the piece and ran it before you said that.
There's a drive to right field. That'll drop in, base hit. Castellanos cuts it off. And Zobrist has a single. First two-man reach here for the Cubs.
Let's take a look at this Anthony Rizzo home run again. Just stayed back. Looked like he almost slipped. He pulled those hands in and put that sweet spot of the bat right on it. Backspin and the solo home run.
DTE Energies, know your own power in Rizzo. Even though he fell to the ground, was able to shoot that one out of the ballpark. Little confab on the hill now as Mack goes out to the mound.
Getting third at bats. You're starting to see the guys coming around to that. It makes a big difference. I would say if you were in the playoffs right now, you'd probably have somebody up. Just as good as he's been throwing, stop that momentum. That's just kind of the wave of what's been going on the last couple of years.
Kyle Schwarber looks at ball one.
I'd like to see a double play right here.
Well, they got one back in the fourth off the bat of Contreras.
And if you're Zimmerman as well, guys, you want to make sure that you change up the way you attack these hitters this third time through the lineup, because they've seen you. They've got a really good idea of what you've been doing to get them out. Now it's time for him to make another adjustment and hopefully continue to pitch deep into this ballgame.
And that's the key word there, Simo, because honestly, all year long, Tigers have not had enough of the starters go deep into games.
And they really haven't. And that's one of the things I'm sure that each one of these pitchers take pride in. And for whatever reason, Mario, they just haven't been able to pitch deep.
And because of that, we've seen a lot of outings from some of their bullpen pieces. Now, you'll always see a lot of outings from your 8th and 9th inning guys like Farmer, or I should say Jimenez and Green, but guys like Farmer have thrown a lot this year. Andy now getting on the bullpen. Rick Anderson.
Wilson throwing the ball a lot.
Wilson, yep, absolutely.
Throwing it, you know, these guys have thrown the ball frequently over the last couple of years. Willie did. Joe, Big Joe, this is probably somewhat uncharted territory for him.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Threw a lot early. You lose some. You got to find a way.
3-1 on Schwarber. Had a big rip, 3-2.
And that's really how you truly separate yourself. Even when you're not at your best, you just have to find a way to get it done. And if you're Joe, that's exactly. And there's Verhagen warming up now. He's been pitching well, too, ever since coming off the DL from the broken nose.
Now, see, Joe Madden has sent the runner every time in this situation. Will he go again?
Runner holds and a bouncing ball up the middle. This should be another double play for the Tigers, and no! Safe at first base. Ooh, we'll look at this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I thought he beat it.
You did?
Yeah, I felt like on the turn they just took his time to make sure he got a good accurate throw.
That's close there, Gibby. That's close.
Is it good enough for them to turn it around, though?
Well, they're going to ask.
I feel like it should be.
They're challenging. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I think you're right, Gibby. I don't know if you can turn that over.
What do they call it, Mario? Inconclusive?
Inconclusive.
That's a little different too, guys. Point out the fact that we were talking about shifts. You know, that's where the game have gone. But if you look at it, Candelario's not. He's not a shortstop by trade. So now Iggy picks the baseball. I mean, Iggy fills the ball, flips it to Candelario. He's not used to turning that double play. So I feel like he wanted to make sure that he made a good throw, but footwork was good there. Just, I think he got him, guys.
Do you?
I do.
Well, I hope you're right. I will say this: Schwarber got the line down the line quickly.
Now they're just on the exchange. He was just a little. See, we were talking about the glove, how far he reached out in that glove, then had to bring it back. Maybe that makes the difference, but I don't think they're going to reverse it. But I hope I'm wrong. It's a long one.
You also noticed there how Candy made sure he kept that foot on the base.
He did. He's not comfortable down there.
Yeah, you have to, because now they're replaying. No more of that phantom just swiping your foot across the bag and being able to turn a double play.
He did a very good job of that. He squared up. It was a good target. Made sure he caught the ball, got one out, and then went for the other.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, though, Simo. How many times is a third baseman going to have to make that turn to second base on a double play?
Yeah.
The only time he's going to have to is like this, when they have the shift on.
And Gardy didn't like that. They've called him safe. Oh, and Jamer says, come on.
Well, that's what it is.
It is what it is, right? Now, had the call been out and the Cubs challenged it, probably would have remained out. I mean, that's just the way these challenges go. So here's Bodie now with 1 on, 1 out. That would have been a sizable double play there. And Bodie looks at ball 1.
Get it right here. Tigers over the year have done a pretty good job, as the index goes, is turning their double plays into outs. But we saw a play earlier that the Tigers had to deal with the shift. There's another one right there.
Runner goes inside. Max throw down to second, goes off the runner, I believe.
It was definitely off the runner.
He drilled Schwarber, who has a stolen base, his 4th of the year.
Yep, they just went first move. Hit him right in the noggin.
Ooh.
Right in the helmet. Had a good jump. The ball was a little bit inside, and James had to rush it. Tigers are lucky that that ball stayed right there. He did not advance to third.
I don't think they thought he would run there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
A little sneak attack there.
Both managers tonight have been very aggressive. Meanwhile, 2-0 on Bodie. Bodie last year had a career year in the minor leagues at AA Tennessee. He put up some really good numbers, 30 doubles, 14 homers, knocked in 59, and now he's gotten his first major league chance this year.
And not too long ago, Mario, you hit a grand slam home run, a walk-off grand slam home run, and I guess the little bat flip.
Yeah.
And he had to apologize. He felt like I guess he felt like he did something wrong.
Driven to right field. Castellanos on the run, still going back. He'll make the catch. quickly back to second, and standing up is Schwarber. Nice running play by Nick.
It's one of the better plays, better routes I've seen Nick run right there, right on it, directly to the spot.
He's definitely getting better out there. Him and Dave Clark are putting in a lot of work on making sure that he gets good jumps. That's number one, but also taking the right route.
And that ball right there, that's just a ball. It's going to slice a little bit on you. You see Schwarber slipping. But, you know, people don't realize you're doing that right there. The ball's sliding a little bit. Maybe it goes through that bank of lights, and you got the wall coming. You can feel it, and he just does not have as much experience that he needs so far dealing with that wall and that sensation that you feel.
Yeah, but that was one of the toughest plays for me playing right field. A right-hander that hits the ball, they stay inside of it, Mario. That ball continues to run towards the line, and you think you're there, but then the ball just keeps going. So you have to really make sure that you get your body around that baseball so you can be in a proper position and to be able to also make a throw, get the ball back into the infield.
Got to make sure you don't drift on it.
You can't drift on that ball.
Soft ground ball up the middle. Nico has it, and out at first base is Contreras to end the inning. Simo, we'll see you on postgame, buddy.
Enjoyed it. Enjoyed it, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Thank you.
Cubs get a run now, 2-1. AAA at Fresno.
He hits everywhere.
He hits everywhere is right, but it was kind of funny. On Twitter, he posted his first AAA hit. How about that? They gave him the ball for his first AAA hit. Of course, he only had 200 every year for 1,000 years in the big leagues. But Altuve celebrating his first AAA hit. And what a hitter he is. It'll be Goodrum to lead things on. Tigers lead by a run now. Hendricks goes back to work, and he'll miss inside. 2-0 on Nico. Goodrum may ground out and a strikeout. That'll miss outside. 3-0.
I like him coming in there, taking a pitch right out of the gate, getting ahead, putting the pressure on the Cubs to come to him.
Two on Nico. Martinez and Ducey here in the Tigers' 6 has been a tight one. The Tigers got 2 runs in the first. They have not scored since. Toward left field, slicing toward the foul line, sliding attempt by Schwarber, he could not hold on, and that is a foul ball.
Good effort by Kyle Schwarber. Didn't make it though.
Timeout for Lowe's whole team together. How about the most defensive runs saved team leaders?
Well, the Diamondbacks and Brewers are way up there. The Cubs at 55, and Kyle Schwarber, not known for a guy that tries to that can save runs. He's known for his bat, but a very good effort right there. Tigers not in that picture. That's the National League there.
High fly to center field, and it's Almora waiting for it to fall into his glove. Played it off to his left. One gone. Spartans Fox Sports Detroit University days are here. Time to head to Comerica Park this Friday and show your school spirit. Special packages include a game ticket, Tigers cap in green and white, a donation back to your school as well. Go to tigers.com/MSU. Now with one out, here is Victor. They have not been able to get him out. 2 singles and an RBI for Martinez. Oh, he drops down a bunt, and he's going to get himself a base hit. How about that for Victor? He took advantage of the shift and made him pay.
Yeah, excellent job. That's using your head. Really smart. He took his time and made sure he got it down. And the Cubs could do nothing. Victor's been practicing on that. You could tell. Look at him. Got those arms pumping. Got it by the pitcher. That's the key. Looks like old Victor right there. He's legging it out pretty good.
Now a Ducey, who is 0 for 2.
Deuce is ready for a big fly, isn't he? Get Victor jog, go rest way around the bases.
Jimmy, a 6-game hitting streak going. Now it's 0-2.
Tigers in an interesting situation right here, bottom of the 6th. It's a 2-run game. You probably start to think about pitch running for Victor, but you know he's going to come up again, so you probably don't. But you know, is 1 run good enough for the Tigers to try and lock it down and win this game 3-1? I would say you think about it, but it's a no-go.
Too early yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you were in a playoff run and you had the bullpen was really established, like the A's bullpen right now, would you say they're pretty good? You might think about it, or the old Indians bullpen when they were so good. Maybe you go for that 1 extra. Either change up or split. Ducey doing a good job of staying alive.
Meanwhile, Hendricks gave up 2 early runs, but has been very stingy since.
Tigers had it on the ropes last inning, but had a ground out and a line out, and it was turned into a double play and did not score.
Ducey has done fine work since his call-up. Batting average right now at .284. He's hit a couple of home runs. 7 hits in that series in Minnesota. Right back to the mound on a line. They're going to double up Victor. Another line double play, the 2nd in as many innings.
Madden if he winces just a little bit if he heard that, because his team has scored 1 run in each of the last 4 games coming in. In Pittsburgh, they scored 1 run in each of those games, each by a solo homer. First team in Major League history to play a 4-game series where they scored, and each of those runs coming via the solo home run. Mario Gibby hoping that that continues here tonight as Drew Verhagen replaces a very solid performance from Jordan Zimmerman, guys.
He will indeed, and Drew comes out on a wall side windows pitching change.
27th game, you see 41 innings. It's struggled early. Has thrown the ball better after he got sent down to the minors and back. Opponent's hitting 220. He's got good stuff, good sinker, curveball's coming. Good velo.
Tommy La Stella leads it off for Chicago. La Stella, Elmora, and Hayward. 2 runs on 8 Tigers hits. Cubs have a run on 7 hits. And a strike called. 1-1. So 6 innings in this one for Mr. Zimmerman. He will hand over a 1-run lead to the bullpen. 2-1 on La Stella.
Drew, the key to him is, I think, being able to command the ball, throw strikes. He's been great late with runners in scoring position. 0 for 11, had 1 sac fly. He throws the slider for strikes 60% of the time. Hitters are 4 for 46. Not that slider this year. 4 for his last 36, I should say.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. La Stella is out of there. That's an 0 for 3 tonight for La Stella.
Again, you see the grip, pulling it straight down. La Stella kind of out front. You have that downward motion. Took a lot of speed off of that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And down he goes.
Top of the order now. Here is Elmora. Pulled into left field. Base hit. Out of the reach of a diving Candelario. 1 on, 1 out. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Tigers 68 World Series team September 8th when the Tigers host the Cardinals. 6:10 start. Arrive early for a special pregame on-field ceremony presented by Comerica Bank. If you'd like tickets, go to tigers.com and get more information. And celebrate 68.
6th grade. Where were you at?
5 years old.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
I didn't like kindergarten. They made me mandatory nap. How do you nap when you're so excited?
Especially you.
Well, that's
you
illegal.
Never sleep.
That's illegal. Okay, everybody, time for a nap, whether you need it or not.
It's illegal.
Yeah, this is time for you to calm down.
Were you a rambunctious kindergartner?
Well, I'd rather go out and run laps.
Yeah, not shocking. Is it Bender low? No in there. Hey, we're 0-2. No
Okay.
naps going on there.
Now, right now, you kids, you lay down on a little rug on the cement and take a nap.
It's discipline. Give me discipline. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
0-2. When Leland told you to go out there and take extra fly balls, you say no, that's illegal.
I said let's get after it.
Okay, that's my point.
Well, I don't get the point. That was right up my alley.
Actually, it was. Now
For
that I think about it.
all of you that are tired or think you're tired, you take your little nap.
Well, what I'm saying is, if someone asks you to do something for your own good, you do it. Oh, high chop, nice play. Ducey will take the out at first. Hayward is gone.
2 down. Well, is it good for you? when you're active and ready to roll?
Yes, naps energize you.
Okay, so right now we could just dim the lights for everybody to take a nap.
Yep.
Because it's good for you?
It is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's perfect.
I'm sorry.
You know I'm going to disagree with you just to disagree.
I do know that.
Okay.
I think that's what people like to hear.
No naps over there either.
No, time for a nap. They just had that cotton candy. Time for a nap. I'm sorry.
Juicy box.
I should have gave you some more milk.
Here's Baez tying run in scoring position. The Cubs have had that last couple of innings, and they'll try and take advantage of it here in the 7th.
But just because we're talking about naps, we're locked in. Trust me. So
we are.
We're multitasking. We're grinding it out for the final out. 2 down here in the top of the 7th. Tigers lead 2-1.
Baez is not bashful about swinging. He's got 2 singles in this game.
Swings early too. He's got great reach. The ball breaks away, he goes and gets it. Stays back. It's a good player.
Didn't go. Baez asking for an appeal there when one wasn't needed because the home plate umpire called it a ball. So I don't know why he asked for one. They get into that habit.
Miggy does that too.
He does a lot.
Wonder that the study on that is that make you safe more or out more?
I don't think it actually affects anything. The call is the call. That's low and away now. 3-1.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but I think there were times in the game where a base umpire supported the call of the home plate umpire. First and foremost.
3-1.
Sometimes I think it matters who's up the plate. Good pitch there. Just thinking fastball. He gets the wrinkle.
Baez, a 20-20 guy this year. 20 homers, 20 steals, actually 25 homers.
Rizzo on deck.
2 outs, tying run at second.
Very dangerous, Anthony Rizzo. Who do you want, this guy or the next guy?
Well, Mac going out to the mound. Here you got 3-2 here on Baez. I definitely want Baez. Free swinger.
Yeah, he's going to throw a chase pitch. He's got him.
Rather not deal with Rizzo.
Looks to me like Baez is always looking fastball too. So like some guys, you can sense they're switching over to the breaking ball and you throw the fastball. I don't get the sense that Javier Baez ever gets off the fastball. If you try and sneak one by him and make any mistake, trouble. Throw it in the dirt.
Popped him up. McCann discards the mask. He's got room to end the inning. Baez is out, and so are the Cubs. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch.
first. Nick scores Candy on an infield ground out, and then Victor with the single scores Iggy. Then in the 6th for the Cubs, Anthony Rizzo with the solo home run.
Meanwhile, Kyle Hendricks at only 79 pitches now as we play here in the 7th. So after giving up 2 early runs, the pitch count in pretty good shape. Matuk fouls it back out of play 0-2 on Mikey.
I think if you get somebody on this inning, Hendricks is throwing a lot of strikes. 61 strikes, 19 balls. You can put somebody in motion, try to make something happen, scrap another one up. He's going to be around the plate.
He has been the recipient of 2 line drive double plays in this game. He'll shoot that one to center field. Going to drop, base hit. Leadoff man on here in the 7th.
Mikey goes down and gets this. Look at him, stays on it. That's what you call bat staying through the zone. If you cut that off, you don't get a chance to hit that ball up the middle. But Mikey stays on it.
Time to get him in. Here's McCann now looking down at third base coach Dave Clark. Bodie is about at the cut of the grass at third. James a fly ball and a ground out. Strike 1.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Not that high, 88, low 71. For Kyle Hendricks.
Hendricks' best year was a couple of years back, 2016. He was 3rd in the National League Cy Young voting that year. ERA of 2.13, finished behind Scherzer and Lester in the Cy Young voting. Also won the ERA title that year.
See, the Cubs are thinking right here they might run. Is something on? Are they taking it off? Think you'd have trouble getting the signs, or would it be easy?
You know, I've often wondered that. It probably would be a little tougher for me. Another snap throw back down to first. Oh, they got him. And Mikey not going anywhere. They're going to check this, I'm sure.
Well, you know he throws down there more than anybody. When the ball crosses the plate, you can't stand out there. You got to get right back. It looked like he was saying, no, they got no challenge, right?
You know, you're right. They don't.
See how he stands out there just for a second. If you look at Anthony Rizzo, where he stands, he kind of blocked him off.
That is the 7th pickoff this year for Contreras. He leads the major leagues. Meanwhile, 3-1 now on McCann. Right back up the middle into center, and that's sizzled right by Hendricks. So the Tigers get that runner right back on. It'll bring up Reyes.
Boy, he whistled that right over him, didn't he?
I'm sure Hendricks probably heard that ball going by.
It went right over the top of his button on the hat. We got some action in the Cubs bullpen.
Just Chavez. One of the Pirates, or one of the Cubs acquisitions. So Reyes with 2 singles. To center field, not deep. Coming into Salmora. And that's the first time tonight Reyes has been retired.
Well, we were talking about some tag stuff, aggressive base running. You get guys who are going to pick behind. Look at the tags. He was safe right there, but look at how the Cubs have really let it get deep. This is a great tag. You're out or you're safe. That makes you out. Nick would have been safe if he didn't have the good tag. Then here on the pickoff again, Rizzo lets it travel, and he's right there, and they all tag to the tip of the bag. And that's had an influence on this game tonight. And as I said, I was down in AA this weekend. They were out there tagging early in the afternoon. Vila's on it, and his staff made the call and says he wants to see it worked on.
Do you think because of replay now, more organizations are putting more of an emphasis on tags?
Absolutely. But anyway, doesn't matter where it is. If you let that ball travel, then you don't make yourself susceptible to like a swim move, is what they call it. Your intuition tells you to reach for him. And I'm seeing those guys keep their glove right over the bag and straight down. They got 3 outs on good tags and 1 they didn't. And that's not the sole purpose. They made good plays, but that's what you finish with.
Joe Jimenez in the Tigers bullpen. 1-2 on Candelario.
Tigers still lead though, 2-1.
2-2. The Cubs tonight have had 3 double plays, and not one of them was a ground ball double play. 2 line out DPs and a catcher throwing out a runner. Now the 2-2 swing and a miss, and Jamer strikes out. Tigers will strand a man. And Tigers baseball tonight brought to you by Bell Tire. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here at Comerica Park, the Tigers holding on to a 2-1 lead as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Anthony Rizzo will be leading it off against a new Tigers pitcher. It's going to be the hard-throwing right-hander Joe Jimenez coming out of the Tigers bullpen.
Joe being tested. He's had quite a few appearances. It's a Wallside Windows pitching change. 57th game. got off to a quick start. That's 52 innings. So it's averaging less than an inning per appearance. 59 strikeouts and only 17 walks. Opponents are hitting .222 against him.
So here is Rizzo, and then Zobrist and Schwarber to follow. Big swing there by Rizzo, who homered in the 6th inning. Looked like he was trying to tie it up there.
You got a shift going. You see the full Ted Williams. You got 3 over here. Candy's alone over here on the left side of the diamond. Rizzo's going for the downs. He's not punting. This is a huge inning for the Tigers here in the 8th. And Joe, you got Rizzo, Zobrist, and Schwarber. 3 very good hitters right in the middle of the lineup. And you want to get these 3 because you don't want that lineup to turn around in the next inning. Turn over.
Pulled foul. If you get these 3 guys, it sets up 7, 8, 9 for the 9th inning. Happy Tiger fan. Hendrick did a good job tonight. He was outstanding. Over 7 innings. 2-2 now on Rizzo. Hendricks gave up 2 Tigers runs in the first, and that was it. Zim, a great job tonight for Hagen, a scoreless inning, and now Jimenez. Well, join us again tomorrow night when the Tigers host the Cubs. All of your game coverage begins with Tigers Live at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
Joe trying to keep it up and in. Be careful with the slider here. Izzo very good at it down and in.
Buried it in the dirt, and now the count 3-2.
I would go with a safe fastball away.
Missed it outside, leadoff man on. It's a walk. Rizzo aboard for the 3rd time tonight.
Take a look right here. Ball gets around, gets away from him right here. Just 2-seamer takes off. Arms dragging a little bit.
So again, the Cubs have the tying run aboard here. Here's Ben Zobrist. On base twice, a single and a walk. Candelario is on the grass at 3rd, opening up the left side of the infield. And Zobrist pounds a foul back out of play. 0-2.
Rizzo gets the walk. Zobrist gives him some gives Joe Madden some flexibility. However, Joe is answered by getting him down, no balls and 2 strikes.
Little chopper to the right side. Goodrum to second, 1. That's all they get. Fielder's choice allows Zobrist to reach.
Here's the 1-800 call Sam. Call the game in the 4th inning. Looked like a routine pop-up, but Mikey Montook had to come in. That was from Kyle Schwarber. The wind got it a little bit and made the catch, though.
Schwarber aboard on a fielder's choice at a single. He's also stolen a base.
Yeah, you're going to have to keep an eye on them. They'll go if you just keep a pattern.
.22 home runs for Schwarber.
When you watched in the home run derby, he was locked up with Bryce Harper and that, and you see that Schwarber's got lots of power. He's thinking of one thing only right now.
You mentioned that Jimenez, his innings will be washed the remainder of the year. Of course, this outing here is screaming for Jimenez a 1-run lead in the 8th, so this has been his inning all season long. But going forward, the Tigers want to manage his innings.
I think they would manage, you know, quick, so many pitches per appearance. If you go over a certain number, you wouldn't pitch him the next day. But I wonder if there's an overall innings or games limit. I mean, the biggest relievers who have the most appearances would probably be 80 plus. Maybe a sinker baller would have less or more. You can hear a lot of Cub fans in the Tiger crowd tonight.
Jimenez came in with 52 innings. Way outside, now 3-1. In his last outing, his last relief appearance on the 18th, a couple of days ago, he threw 33 pitches.
Yeah, he has struggled recently.
An 80 ERA post All-Star break. Had a rip on 3-1 and sent it straight back 3-2.
Well, any way you look at it, he's had a great year. He's come a long way. He's just figuring out what it takes to see it through. Doesn't come free.
See what they do with the runner here on 3-2. He is holding. Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
Reached back there, didn't he?
Reach back to strike out Schwarber. Two gone now for David Bodie.
Bodie hit a ball out the other day, but it was down and he was ahead in the count. Joe needs to get ahead right here.
Since that walk-off grand slam, he is 2 for 20.
Makes sense. There comes a certain level of success, I believe, that puts you kind of over the top, and you kind of get a little, I don't want to say greedy, but you get swinging a little too big. And the results aren't good, and so far, just saw Joe say "Vamos," meaning let's go. 0-2 count, no nibbling. Maybe a little higher right here. It looks to me like Bodie likes the ball down. Climb that ladder. Good location. Can't do anything with it but foul it off.
2 for 20 with 6 strikeouts since the slam against Washington. They say that a lot about the little guys, don't they? Give you when they start hitting home runs, they start changing their swing a little bit.
But the big guys do it too.
Eldard low and away, breaking ball that missed.
Boy, I think he's set up for that high heater. Anywhere off the top of the zone. That's what he's going to get.
got him with it. Jimenez comes back to strike out Schwarber and Bodie, and they lead the tying run aboard. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Still a one-run game.
On a bunt single. Took what they gave him. It was high stepping, long leg, and beat it out.
So a wall side windows pitching change. The birthday boy's coming on. Jesse Chavez turned 35 today.
There you see it. 43 games. Look at those innings. 73 innings.
And it's slapped into left field, and Iglesias with a leadoff single here in the 8th. Time for a Ram Pick the Stick update.
Yeah. Well, eked back to a 0.
It's pretty good.
The Gooch and Keats didn't work out good. Rod doing good. He's sticking with Vmart. He's propelled him really up into second place last couple weeks. Staying hot. He's staying with him.
Here is Castellanos, and Nicholas looks at a strike. Line double play in his last at bat for Nick. That came with runners at second and third and 1 out. He had a screaming line drive to the second baseman. Reyes just ran home and was doubled up easily.
Shane Green getting ready to go in the Tigers pen, trying to lock this game down. Tigers looking for some insurance.
And Chavez delivers outside. He's been with a boatload of teams. Oakland, KC, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Atlanta, Dodgers, Texas, Angels,
Durable,
Cubs. Here's the 2-1. Drilled towards center field. Almora running back to make the play, and Iglesias returns. Well, what do we got on tomorrow? Here's the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows.
John Lester struggled really in his previous 4 before his last start. Did okay. Francisco Liriano trying to get to 4 and 8. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. tomorrow for the pregame. Francisco is ready to go.
Nico Goodrum now. Nico in the ball game, ground out, strikeout, fly out. Fouled away.
Great time to score right here. And an extra run, big. If you're Tigers, you're up by a run, you're probably going to be a little more aggressive. Iglesias over there might think about stealing somewhere along the line here.
Iggy leads the team with 14 steals. The Tigers as a club are 10th in the American League in stolen bases.
Chavez a 1.14 seconds to home plate. Says pretty quick. Where you go maybe is on a delay steal. You got to watch those middle infielders. See if they're dropping their heads after the ball crosses the plate. Now that's what Ramon Santiago would do from first base, being the first base coach. Just kind of keep an eye and see if the infielders where their eyes go.
Nico sawed off, rolls it foul. He'll need a new bat. You can just hear that bat crackle.
So they communicate before the pitch who's covering the bag. Zobrist gives the sign. Then you watch them what they do, and they stand. Yes, I got it. You got it. Then they're peeking at that runner. So when Chavez starts into his movement, they're seeing if Iglesias is going, and at some point they focus their eyes on the plate. That's when you want to take off on the delay. Oh, tow truck.
Tow truck.
You got that roadside service? That hurts. It's an old George Perlis joke.
Oh, that one actually caught him. It looked like on the instep or above the instep.
Still, you can use a tow truck for the ankle.
Okay. Roadside.
It's like whether you got a car or a truck, you know, it doesn't matter.
Chavez got him looking, and Nico strikes out for the second out of the inning. And Nico now is 0 for 4. Here's Vmart.
Victor 3 for 3. We just showed you his last hit on the bunt. Very crafty, well thought out. Low flying on the baseline bunt. Now go for the big fly.
Victor in search of a 4-hit game. He hadn't had one of those since July of 16 against Boston. Swing and a miss. Chavez brought that last one up there 93 miles an hour. He broke into the big leagues with the Pirates way back in 08 as a 24-year-old. High fly ball, playable. It'll be the center fielder Almora, and that is that. So the Tigers get a leadoff single. We'll go to the 9th, up by 1.
one of the things that I'm most anxious to hear is Victor Martinez talking about his second ever bunt.
I can't wait to hear what Victor has to say either. But if they're going to continue to shift, I think Victor's saying, okay, this is it. I'll take the base hit the opposite way. Nice bunt there by V-Mart, beating out a single, too. That was beautiful.
Lots to unpack when Tigers Live rolls your way. You'll hear from Jordan Zimmerman. You'll hear from Ron Gardenhire. It has been a very entertaining baseball game, even though only 3 runs have been scored. And the Tigers hope that only 3 runs get scored, at least if they hang on tonight. Mario and Gibby.
All right, here is Shane Green in a well-side windows pitching change.
Greeny 26 of 29. Doesn't walk anybody. Want to get that first hitter.
Contreras showing bunt. That'll bring Candelario in a step or 2. He's even with the bag now at third.
He's got the line.
Slice to right field. Castellanos. 1 out. It'll bring a Tommy LaStella.
No, this is critical. Where do you play a guy? Tommy LaStella, guy can bunt too. You'll see the Tigers. Remember, Candy was over here last time. They're pretty much playing this little hole right here. They're trying to take this away from him.
Strike 1 on LaStella.
Now we got Ducci. He just moved over. He's going to guard that. Candy over here is taking the bunt away.
If the Tigers go on to win this game 2-1, that would be 5 straight games in which the Cubs have scored 1 run.
And they'd be 2 and 3. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, with this offense, no doubt. Swing and a miss. LaStella swinging out of his shoes there. 1-2.
Look at the target of James McCann and watch how this ball explodes. Comes off the body. Good pitch call and good execution.
Chopped the first, fair ball. Right there is Ducey, and 2 gone. One more out to get for Shane Green. Top of the order coming up. It'll be Almora.
Right to where they move Ducey.
Here comes the crowd now. Almora 2 out of 4 singles in his last 2 at bats. Ball 1. Hayward waiting on deck. They would just as soon get Almora here. Ball 2.
Five home runs for Almora. Not a big power guy. However, when you get behind, you're just going to go with a fastball away here.
Dotted the outside corner at 95, right at the knees as well. Bender outside now, 3-1 on Albert Almora.
How did he lay off that? Came out of the same plane as the previous pitch, which is a fastball. That was the slider.
Jason Hayward lurking. And he walked in, ball 4, so the tying run is on with 2 outs. Cubs fans like it. Here is Hayward. He is 0 for 4 tonight.
Amora 1 steal. Caught twice. Probably going to leave that hole open over there between first and second. Want to leave that open. Make him cover first. Trying to get to the next hitter here. Baez.
In there, a strike called at 94 miles an hour.
1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Jason Hayward off of Greeny.
Look how deep Victor Reyes playing in center field.
No doubles.
He is way back there.
Well, the philosophy is it's going to take 2 hits for that guy at first if it doesn't go over your head.
Slice to left foul. Now it's 0-2. And here comes the crowd again. Cubs down to the final strike.
Bust him up and in. He really didn't like the way he dove with that ball down the left field line. When you look at the outfielders, Mikey's over to the alley here. We're over playing here as well. You can throw the ball away, you leave yourself a little bit susceptible down that left field line.
Here's the 1-2. 2-2. Clearly outside. The crowd wanted it.
They weren't even close.
Boo, said the Tigers fans.
That's passion. Come on.
There's a couple inches off the plate at least.
That's more than a couple.
Yeah, 6 maybe.
But I like the support. Hopefully you can influence this call right here. I would not want to face Baez. Pretty good foul off there by Hayward. That's a ball that you cannot really do anything with in this situation, so you just try and foul it off if you're the hitter. Frustrate the pitcher. What's Greeny going to come with here? Probably going to come back to that back door sometime, don't you think? Maybe 3-2? One that he missed.
Yeah, just missed with it, yeah. Fouled away. Another heater at 95 away.
Now, some veteran pitchers right now would throw this one off the plate. Then start it off the plate and try a backdoor at that last pitch. Here's all the pitch locations. Greeny's foot 2 up and in.
Rip foul.
Put it in the bat.
2-2. The count stays on Jason Hayward. Number 3 hitter Javier Baez waiting on deck. This will be the 8th pitch coming up in this at bat. Big deep breath for Hayward. Tigers fans a little anxious.
50 RBI for Hayward, 89 for Baez. Hayward 326 with runners in scoring position.
Want the fastball away. Oh, he just took it out of the glove of McCann.
Like he was protecting against the slider. Just got a piece.
That close to ending the ball game. Let's do it right here. This will be the 20th pitch of the inning for Green. Hayward fighting tooth and nail. Baez lurking. Here comes number 10 in this at bat.
Throw 2 inside right now. Right in the belt. Swing it back off the inside corner. You'd never expect it twice in a row.
Swing and a miss. He got him. Struck him out to win the ball game.
Or that.
Tigers win 2-1. Now we send you to the Coliseum Studios. John Keating with Tigers live post game.
In the 9th inning, Mario said, here comes the crowd now. I'm not sure whose crowd he was talking of. Mixed mess of folks here between the Tigers and the Cubs, but Detroit prevails by a 2-1 final, thanks in part to a strong start from Jordan Zimmerman. You'll hear from him. Victor Martinez with a bunt single. We'll delve into that. Base running was the factor, and you'll hear from Ron Gardenhire, Craig Monroe, and myself with Matt Shepard of the clubhouse. Tigers live in a moment.